A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Galatians. Brothers and sisters, I am amazed that you are so quickly forsaking the one who called you by the grace of Christ for a different gospel, not that there is another. But there are some who are disturbing you and wish to pervert the gospel of Christ. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel other than the one that we preached to you, let that one be accursed. As we have said before, and now I say again, if anyone preaches to you a gospel other than the one that you received, let that one be accursed. Am I now currying favor with human beings or God? Or am I seeking to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a slave of Christ. Now I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that the gospel preached by me is not of human origin, for I did not receive it from a human being, nor was I taught it, but it came through a revelation of Jesus Christ. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The responsorial psalm, the Lord will remember his covenant forever. The Lord will remember his covenant forever. I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart in the company and assembly of the just. Great are the works of the Lord, exquisite in all their delights. The Lord will remember his covenant forever. The works of his hands are faithful and just. Sure are all his precepts, reliable forever and ever, wrought in truth and equity. The Lord will remember his covenant forever. He has sent deliverance to his people. He has ratified his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. His praise endures forever. The Lord will remember his covenant forever.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
There was a scholar of the law who stood up to test Jesus and said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus said to him, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" He said in reply, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." He replied to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you shall live." But because he wished to justify himself, he said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man fell victim to robbers as he went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. They stripped and beat him and went off, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down that road, but when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. Likewise, a Levite came to the place, and when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. But a Samaritan traveler who came upon him was moved with compassion at the sight. He approached the victim, poured oil and wine over his wounds and bandaged them. Then he lifted him up on his own animal, took him to an inn and cared for him. The next day, he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper with the instruction, "Take care of him. If you spend more than what I have given you, I shall repay you on my way back." Which of these 3, in your opinion, was neighbor to the robber's victim? He answered, "The one who treated him with mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." The Gospel of the Lord. I think we're all pretty familiar with the parable of the Good Samaritan, which we just heard. Just a few things to maybe we could look at today. First of all, it's clear that it was the person who was injured, left for half dead, is a Jewish person. A Jewish priest is walking by, sees him, crosses the street. No time, keep going. A Levite, which is from the priestly class, sees him, too busy, keep going. One point, how busy are we that we wouldn't stop to help somebody in need? There's a question. Are we always in a hurry to get somewhere? Where's our priorities? Would we not stop and help somebody in need? I remember, I don't know how many years ago, I think it was in Hartford, some person was hit by a car in the middle of the road, and all the other cars just kept going around that person and kept going on their way to work, to school, doing their business, to shopping, and left the person in the road. That happened in Hartford, I'm pretty sure, not some years ago. Interesting, scary, and sad. And then I think it's also interesting who actually helps this person. It's a Samaritan. Now, the Samaritan and Jewish people are bitter enemies. They can't stand each other. But it's the Samaritan who stops to help the Jewish person who's half dead, takes his time, spends a whole day and a half with him, spends his money on him, wants to make him well. And Jesus says, who's the neighbor then to this wounded person? The one who shows him mercy, the Samaritan. See, he wouldn't even say Samaritan. He's a Jewish person. He couldn't even say the word Samaritan. No, the person who showed mercy, still an enemy. The person who shows mercy is the neighbor. When we think of this parable, we think of the person laying on the ground, half dead, is the neighbor. But this parable is really saying the one who helps him is the neighbor. That's the neighbor. Question for us today, how much of a neighbor am I? How much of a neighbor are you? Are we too busy in our lives to be a neighbor to someone, including an enemy? Some class of people, some person that we just don't like? Would we not stop and help and take care of, reach out, be generous to? Jesus wants to know, are you a neighbor? Am I a neighbor? That's the question that they leave with us today.